Hello, guys, and welcome to today's update. I'm gonna have two updates today. This first update is solely gonna be on what is now severe cyclonic Tauktae. And then the evening update, we're gonna be looking at the Atlantic sea surface temperatures, and we're gonna look at the Enzo and whatnot, plus another update on Tauktae. Anyways, here's the particulars. It is 14.4 north, 72.9 east. Maximum winds is at 60 knots, which I believe is 70 miles an hour. And minimal central pressure is at 979 millibars. All right, so here's the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. And as you can see, they have this peaking out at 105 knots, which is, I think, it's 115 miles an hour. I could be wrong on that. So this is the Joint Typhoon Warning Center wants to have this uh, hitting as a Category 3 into India here. As you can see, they got some catching up to do, honestly, with this. Let's see if there's any updated cones. No, there's no update cone. So they got some catching up to do on this one. So here's a look at the GEFS tracks in minimal MSLP. And as you can see, this is from 6C this morning. Um, Here's the average mean here. This black line is what the average of all of these other spaghetti plots or is located. So as you can see, it has a starting point of 987 and it peaks out at 962. Like I said, this is the average of everything that's going on. But as you can see, there is a majority of these spaghetti plots that are showing some pinks, which is between 950 and 940. And it looks like India is probably not going to luck out on this one. Pakistan, there still might be a landfall in Pakistan, but I think the majority consensus is India with the GFS. So we'll see what happens with it as we go out through time. Here is the GEPS tracks in minimal MSLP. This is from 0C, so this is like 8 p.m. Yesterday. So actually, let's take a look and see if that is updated to 12Z yet. No, 12Z has not come out yet, so we'll just have to use it. Anyways, you know the drill. The black line is your average mean of everything that's going on here. There's some models. There's 3 models that want to take it into Pakistan, and there's 2 models that want to jolt it up to the northwest. Um, and once again, most of the majority of these models have it going into India. So I'm not liking the situation here as we go out through time because, as you guys know, India is dealing with the extreme COVID cases. They're spiking high, and what are they gonna really? What can how can they escort millions of people to safety without getting so many people sick from the COVID? But that is neither here nor there, and that's a discussion for another video. That's a concerning part about all of this. Anyways, the average mean here, it has a starting point of 991 millibars, and it peaks at a 985. So I think the GEPS is being conservative, in my view, very conservative to what is potentially about to happen. And as you can see here, there's some dark reds and browns showing up in here. So that's anywhere between 970 and 960. As you can see, that's a big difference between the GEFS and the GEPS. So unfortunately, I'm leaning more towards the GEFS when it comes to the solution here. Um, I wish that wasn't the case. I wish I was only going with the GEPS, but I think there's just so much room for intensification here that the GEFS is going to beat out the GEPS, and that's a unfortunate, stance on this thing. Anyways, let's take a look at the sea surface temperatures, and as you can see, 28s, 29s, 30s, 31s, and even some 32s popping up here, and there's there's no cool water in sight. So if you think that the waters are gonna help this weekend, you could just, like I said yesterday, toss it out the window because these temperatures are going to be more like jet fuel to the tropical cyclone than it is to weaken the tropical cyclone. Um, and that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate because you know India and Pakistan do not need this. Heck, and nobody needs this. Because there's a lot of talk about how strong this storm could possibly get, and then we'll find out how strong the models have it as we go check out the GFS here momentarily. So let's take a look at the radar scoop, and as you can see, it's starting to come well defined. It's there's no lack of moisture whatsoever, and the west coast of India is really getting pummeled with some winds and rain and some storm surge. I've seen on Twitter some cases of storm surge happening on the west coast of India. So it's already disrupting everyday the day operations in West India. So that's very an unfortunate situation, and hopefully uh, there's just not no good news with this because if it goes east, then India. I mean, obviously it's a better circumstance, but West India is going to get battered with 70 to 75 mile per hour sustained winds, which is enough to cause damage and some storm surge and some flooding rains, obviously, because we could see a solid moisture field with this. But if it starts trending to the west, it has more time over those piping hot waters, and then it just explodes, and somebody in Pakistan and India gets the worst of it. So there's really no win-win here, and somebody's gonna have to get it because it's moving to the north and west. So, like I said, it's an unfortunate circumstance that this has to happen, especially when we're in the midst of COVID, and like I said, India having the worst case of it. All right, so let's take a look at the GFS models, and as you can see, the GFS has been pretty consistent with this storm and keeping up with the tropical tidbits central pressure here. So it's only 1 millibar lower than what the tropical tidbits have. And let's take a look at the wind shear. We're at 10 knots of wind shear. So uh, what I think is this is definitely the warm temperatures plus the low wind shear equals boom. That's just how it is. Uh, the conditions seem to be ripe for rapid intensification. That's just the way of the land when it comes to the tropics. When you have piping hot waters, low wind shear, bam, that's what you get. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm not a fear monger. I tell it how it is. Um, and what it is that we have a strengthening cyclonic storm out in the North Indian Ocean. There's no getting around that. Okay, let's go out 24 hours here. And as you can see, we got a 968 millibars system here, and we're going to take a look at the wind shear. And at 16 knots, uh, to me, anywhere from 0 to 20 knots is good for tropical cyclone development. Anything over 20 knots is not so good. So we're still in the threshold of the wind shear being at such to where you can have some more strengthening here. Like it may not be as fast of strengthening as you say if the wind shear was 10 knots, but they're still going to be strengthening nonetheless because that's favorable for development, that wind shear. All right, 48. We have a 945, so we definitely have a rapid intensifying system here, and the wind shear is only 4 knots, so there's virtually no wind shear in the area whatsoever, and that's worrying. So let's take it out to 72 hours, and we have a 947, which looks like it's making landfall on the northwest India coast. We got 12 knots of wind shear. Um, so that's not a good look. And then, as you know, 96 hours. We're not going to look at wind shear because it's not over water anymore. So for 96 hours, it's pretty much raining itself out over the border of Pakistan and India, and 120 out is trying to dissipate at 120 out. So with that being said, I want to take a look at one more thing here before we move on. We're going to look at total accumulating rainfall, and as you can see, it's not looking too well for you know the coast, the border lines of Pakistan and India, because it looks like you could be getting 300 to 400 millimeters of rain. Let's take a look at that real quick while we're here. 400. We're gonna go in the middle. We're gonna say 350 millimeters to inches. That's 13.7 inches of rain. We're gonna round that up to 14 inches of rain. That's a lot of rain for those areas to receive. All right, now we're going to take a look at the European, and unfortunately, like I said yesterday, it doesn't show wind shear values or any peculiars like the GFS does. But this is from the 0C last night, so we haven't gotten an update yet, which we won't for another 2 or 3 hours, maybe even 4. So as you can see, it started off at a 993. Obviously, this is earlier because the minimal pressure is high still. So here is 24 hours out, and it's at 979 millibars. 48 hours is 977, and at 72, it is at 952 millibars with an imminent landfall in India in 3 days' time. 96 hours, making its way north, and then 120 hours, it's at 985, dying out over India. So let me see. We got nope, they don't have it, so we're not gonna know. All I know is that you guys are gonna get a lot of rain. Okay. Anyways, that is all I have for right now. I will be back later this evening with another tropical update and another update on Tauktae. Anyways, thank you guys for watching and have a great day.